We know how old the Earth is, estimated to be around 4.54 billion years old, but how do you measure the age of a country? Well, it is difficult since nationalism, the idea and movement that holds that the nation should be congruent with the state, is a construct, but people, culture and history are much more tangible identifiers of who we are, where we're from and what we're about. While contemplating the hypothetical dissolution of one's homeland may seem abstract, a nation's longevity and success on the global stage hint on multifaceted factors. These include effective economic management, sustainable industrial growth, environmental protection, robust infrastructure development, diplomatic alliances, and resilience against the impacts of conflicts or wars, which can profoundly disrupt these foundations. Many countries as we recognise them today have emerged recently within the past few decades or centuries. On the other hand, despite changes in national boundaries, governments and capital cities, other nations have persisted for centuries. So what defines the world's oldest country? A search online yields numerous results and various claims about which country holds the title of the oldest. From the nearly 200 countries in the world, a recurring list of contenders includes Iran, Egypt, Armenia, North Korea, China, India, Georgia, Israel, Japan, San Marino, France, Denmark, Portugal and Mongolia. But what exactly constitutes a country? The initial step in identifying the oldest countries globally involves establishing the criteria that define a country. Ancient city-states such as Uruk, Athens, Rome and Chichen Itza would have significant influence in their respective eras, but do not fit the modern definition of a nation-state. Likewise, expansive empires like the Roman Empire in Europe and the Han Dynasty in Asia, despite their dominance over vast territories, do not meet the criteria for being considered countries. Nonetheless, modern nations can emerge from the fragmented remnants of collapsed empires. While empires are uncommon in today's world, new countries continue to form, often through regions declaring independence from existing states. One notable example is the dissolution of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics or USSR on December 26, 1991, which resulted in the formation of 25 smaller entities, with 15 achieving independence between 1988 and 1992. A more recent instance is South Sudan, a Central African nation that gained independence from neighbouring Sudan on July 9, 2011. Then there comes the challenge of determining a country's age. Determining the age of a country presents a complex challenge, particularly when examining ancient civilizations, where the continuity of a nation's existence comes into question. Are Sumer and modern-day Iraq regarded as the same country? What about the Aztec Empire in present-day Mexico? Modern criteria for defining a country, such as clear borders, a legal system, taxation and organized governance, did not exist in ancient times. Among the contenders frequently discussed as the oldest countries are Egypt, China and San Marino, each with claims based on historical continuity and cultural legacy. Egypt's historical narrative spans millennia of diverse political and cultural phases. From its roots as a pharaonic theocracy to periods of Roman vassalage and British colonial rule, Egypt has experienced numerous governmental changes. Thus, the question of Egypt's inception as a modern state arises. Was it on February 28, 1922 when the United Kingdom recognised its sovereignty, or perhaps in 969 AD with the establishment of Cairo by the Fatimid Caliphate? Another perspective places its origins in 3100 BCE, marked by the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under the First Dynasty's first pharaoh, Narmer. The essence of Egyptian identity which defines its national character could be argued to stem from any of these pivotal moments in its history, among others. Likewise, China, renowned for one of humanity's oldest civilizations, boasts an ancient lineage evidenced by early writings dating back to 7000 BCE, and documented governance structures as early as 2070 BCE. Throughout its history, China has been characterized by a series of dynastic cycles where regional warlords or kingdoms would periodically seize control, leading to periods of fragmentation into smaller entities before reunification under new dynasties. Therefore, the governance and territorial evolution of China has undergone continuous transformations over millennia. Consequently, many historians argue that the entity we now know as China did not truly coalesce until 1911 to 1912, when the collapse of the last feudal dynasty gave way to the establishment of a modern republic. Some extend this pivotal moment to as late as December 7, 1949, when the Chinese Civil War concluded with a communist victory and the formal establishment of the People's Republic of China as it is recognized today. Lastly, San Marino, a European microstate and enclave within Italy, traces its origins to legend. According to tradition, its namesake St. Marinus, a stonemason originally from the Roman island of Rab, now part of Croatia, founded an autonomous monastic community in Monte Titano on September 3, 301 AD. It is claimed that he declared independence from the Roman Empire, making San Marino the oldest existing sovereign state and the oldest constitutional republic in the world, provided the legend of St. Marinus is accepted as historical fact. But should this tale be believed? Is it a proven historical event, or is it more of a legend? In reality, the origins of San Marino are more steeped in mythology than historical certainty, with the first recorded account emerging centuries after St. Marinus purportedly lived. The earliest written reference to San Marino dates back to 511 AD, documented by a monk. However, this does not mark the founding of San Marino as an established entity, rather it serves as the earliest recorded evidence of its existence. Other countries with early evidence of ancient habitation include Greece, where advanced civilizations have thrived for approximately 4,000 years, and where Athens stands as the world's first known adopter of democratic governance. Likewise, India boasts a civilization that emerged around 10,000 years ago along the western margins of the Indus River basin. Japan has traditionally traced its imperial lineage back to February 11, 660 BC, with Emperor Jimmu as its legendary first ruler. However, historical verification for the existence of Emperor Jimmu and the subsequent 25 emperors is lacking, with the first historically confirmed agnatic line appearing in 539 AD with Emperor Kinmei. This marks 539 AD as the earliest historically documented period of Japan's potential founding, underscoring its ancient origins, older than most contemporary nations but not as ancient as San Marino. Determining the exact origins of even relatively young nations can pose challenges. Consider the United States, which officially marked its inception on July 4, 1776, when the 13 original colonies declared independence from Great Britain. Alternative milestones could include the arrival of the first Native Americans millennia ago, Christopher Columbus's voyage in 1492, the landing of the first pilgrims in 1620, or September 3, 1783, when the American Revolutionary War concluded and Great Britain formally recognized American independence. To add even more confusion to an already confusing question, how long can a country be under foreign occupation before it stops existing? For instance, is Poland's age counted from the establishment of the Kingdom of Poland on April 18, 1025, or from its independence as a Second Polish Republic at the end of World War I on November 11, 1918? In a similar fashion, countries that have transitioned between different forms of government raise questions. Is Imperial China the same entity as the modern People's Republic of China, or is the French Republic distinct from the historical Kingdom of France? One could debate for eternity as to what the oldest country is, and in this video I've only mentioned what I deem are the most important criteria. I also haven't even mentioned that there isn't a universally agreed upon definition of country either. Is Greenland a country? Some people say no, as it's a non-sovereign part of Denmark, yet at the same time I claim to call Wales a country. There are just so many ways to approach the question, and what a country is can have many interpretations, and because of complex scenarios such as the ones mentioned, any list of the oldest countries changes significantly depending upon how one defines the birth of a country. To me, the answer depends on the person answering the question, and one has to come to the inevitable conclusion that there is no good answer. Personally, to me, the answer to what is the world's oldest country depends on the lens with which one views the terms oldest in country. A geologist might say Canada because of the Canadian Shield, with an estimated age between 2.5 to 4.2 billion years old, making it the oldest landmass on the planet, though that could be up for debate. A paleontologist might say southwestern Ethiopia, where the oldest known remains of Homo sapiens were found. An anthropologist might say Australia, as the Aboriginal Australians, the oldest known civilization on Earth, have continuously lived in Australia for at least 65,000 years. An archaeologist might say the West Bank or Syria, depending on whether Jericho or Damascus is the oldest continuously inhabited place in the world. A historian could agree with Egypt, based on acknowledging founding dates, though boundaries have changed and Persia may make a claim. A bureaucrat might say Japan, since it apparently has the oldest continuous government in the world. Parliamentarians might say the Althing in Iceland, one of the oldest surviving parliaments in the world, founded in 930, but it was discontinued for a brief time in the 19th century. A constitutionalist could point out that San Marino's constitution, the oldest surviving constitution of any sovereign state in the world, has survived since the 12th of August 1600, but one instance went past World War II occupation and the Magna Carta. The Pope might assert that the Vatican's been around since the donation of Pepin in 754, which provided a legal basis for the creation of the Papal States. Demographers might say the oldest country is Monaco, where the median age of its citizens is 55.4 years old. Linguists would deny any language is older than any other, since the vast majority of languages are descended from countless earlier languages since time immemorial, in a ship of Theseus-like evolution. Vexillologists might say Denmark, since its national flag is the oldest continuously used national flag in the world. Records suggest it's been used since at least the 15th of June 1219, with formal recognition as a national flag dating back to 1625. And finally, Wikipedia would say Sweden, since when you sort by date of last subordination on this Wikipedia page, you get Sweden. This hasn't made Jack, and if you're old, please leave a comment down below.